Hey, yo, what's up, ladies? This is Alex from Mindful Attraction 2.0, and in today's video, we're going to be talking about 8 things that a man would do only if he loves you. Now, I'm not a big fan of making, like 8 signs or 8 things that you got to do, like stuff like that. But I feel like this is actually kind of useful because it'll help you guys understand the signs that you guys are going to get from guys, and it'll show you whether you should commit or whether you should um, consider backing off. Because a lot of times, a lot of people confuse the signals that people give them, not because of ignorance, but because our emotional state paints the way we perceive the data and the information we're intaking, and also our self-image also filters what we experience and interprets those things for us. So if we feel insecure and suddenly the person may not be paying attention because they may have some personal problems, you might attribute that he doesn't really love you, and so that may cause you to ignore all of the positive signs, and as a result you may sabotage your relationship. So this will enable you to have more of a clearer picture, devoid of interpretation, or devoid from interpreting the facts from in place of insecurity, and things that I know that are signs that somebody loves them from my own personal experience. All right, so let's get started. So the first thing is the first one of the biggest signs that a guy actually likes you and is becoming more interested in you is when he becomes interested in your parents. I mean, I promise you this, man. Your parents are not that interested. I'm interested, okay? And there's no other reason why a guy would be interested in your parents other than he's interested in you and has a future in mind with you. That's usually what that means. For the most part, a guy, when he's in love with a woman, he'll try to gain her parents' validation, because he feels like he has a future with her. So that's pretty much it. The second thing is you go on a trip together. And I know this sounds pretty cliche, but if a guy asks you to go on a trip with him, I mean, it means that he either is considering. I mean, he's almost at that stage of loving you, or he really wants to spend time with you. You see, most of the time you don't just go on trips together with someone who you just met. Well, unless you guys are there only for physical reasons. But if it's any relationship and the sex has gone down, and he still invites you to come out on trips with him, it means that he values your company, and it means that it goes beyond the physical. It means that he may be loving you. That's what pretty much that means. I promise you. Like, most of my friends, they don't go on trips with women who they kind of like. They go on trips with women who they really love. You see, number three, he includes you in his future plans. Whenever you don't really love somebody, you don't really envision a future with them. Whenever you think about your future, you just see yourself and your only self. But when you want say something with someone and you really love them, you will naturally create those mental projections where you guys are together in the future. If you make plans in your mind, you're gonna try to include them as much. So you'll notice that when a guy has feelings for you, he'll try to include you in his plans, or he'll try to accommodate his plans for you. You see, so if you talk about how you're going to be in Canada, you know what I'm saying, and he's actually going to be living in South Africa, he'll try to find a way to either find a way to meet, find a middle ground per se, because when somebody really loves someone, they really want to stay together for the long run, and so he'll naturally plan those things out. You see, and I remember that happened to me where when I was talking to this girl, she would plan to to work in Florida and whatnot, and I really liked her, I really loved her, and as a result, I actually conspitulated and actually try to find ways to actually live closer to her, you see, and so we talked about kind of stuff, but I would not have done that if it was just a superficial attraction that I have for her, if I just liked her, but rather than instead of loving her. You see, so that's what usually happens, is that you are included in his future, and he talks about her, and even gets upset whenever you talk about something that doesn't include him in your own future. All right. Um, Number four, he consistently texts you and responds to you. And I know this is kind of obvious, but it goes to say that in my experience, whenever I love someone, I always text them in the morning. I always try to text them at night. I always try to be the person who she hears first and who she hears last from. That's usually tends to happen. But when you just like somebody, I mean, generally speaking, when you love somebody, you're just obsessed about them. It's an obsession. That's what that is. It really is an obsession. And the obsession manifests in you wanting to communicate with them as much as you can. All right. So that's one of the things that happens when you love someone. Oh, hey, pretty girl. Um, Let me see. Number five, he wants to spend time alone with you. I know this is kind of obvious once again, but you want to think about these signs and put them together in one thing. Don't just look at them individually. He's like, oh, he asked me to hang out with him and watch Netflix. No, 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 I'm not talking about that girl. I'm talking about he actually spends quality time with you, like alone. I mean, without having to be sex. He just really would like to spend time with you. Most guys, when they just kind of like somebody, they won't spend a lot of time together alone. You know, or even better yet, he'll choose to hang out with you over his friends. That's actually goddamn big. You know, when you're splitting friendships, that means he loves you. You see what I'm saying? He would choose not to spend time with his friend, just to spend time with you. Exactly. Number six, he gets jealous at the thought of you being with somebody else. A healthy dose of jealousy never goes. A healthy dose of jealousy never is, and there's nothing wrong with that. You see what I'm saying? It's actually pretty good to have a healthy dose of jealousy. And when somebody has more than just feelings for you, they actually kind of get jealous. Whenever he thinks about you being with your ex or somebody else. Now, I'm not talking about over possessive jealousy, but I'm just talking about a subtle dose of jealousy where you kind of like it's kind of cute and adorable. I mean, you should always be careful whenever you see abrupt jealousy, where he gets overly emotional that to the point that he cannot control himself. Just definitely look out for that, and you should definitely not think that's cute because that isn't. Number seven, when you have an upper door policy, like literally when you just come to his place anytime you want to. When you guys assume that you guys are gonna sleep over each other if you guys hang out together. I mean, that's a sign that he really loves you because then that just means that he wants to spend time with you as much as you do. But when you feel like you have to ask him, then that's an extremely good reflection of how the dynamics of the relationship is. You know what I'm saying? So for the most part, when a guy really has certain emotions for you, he's gonna naturally want to spend time with you. I mean, he's gonna want to naturally spend time with you to the point that you're gonna feel him telling you you can stay over. You see, you're just gonna feel that comfort. Yeah, unless he likes to, have his own bed to himself. That's what usually happens. And I'm telling you just from experience. These are just things that a guy will do if he only loves you. You know what I'm saying? Number seven. He gives you all. Now this is actually pretty big. He gives you well thought out gifts. All right. Usually when you just have superficial attraction with someone, you don't notice the details of them. You don't really think creatively to put a smile on their face. You really just don't do that. But when you have actual affection for somebody, you're actually gonna go out of your way to try to find a way to put a smile on their face. And usually when it comes time to prove yourself, it's during the holidays or it's their birthday or just a random gift. They're gonna give you a gift that's not just a gift card, but something that's really well thought out. That's what usually happens. You don't just give a well thought out gift to a random person. You give a thought out gift to somebody that you really love. And let me tell you something, man. If he's giving you a well thought out gift and he doesn't love you, he's a good person. He's a good person. But the one thing that you have to keep in mind is that don't just look at these signs, pick one and be like, oh, he loves you. No, no, no. Look at everything. Look at everything and try to find as many of them as you can. And also realize that sometimes a guy may even show all of these signs and he may not really love you. You see, he may show all of these signs, but that's just how he is. Wherein some guys just have that natural tendency to be a very loving individual, but at the same time be able to detach, where they have high intention but low attachment. You see, so you just gotta be careful with that, and always keep an open mind and realize that a lot of times your own insecurities is what causes you to see beyond what's there, and it may even make you think that the person loves you when in reality he's not even giving you one scintilla of a signal that he loves you. All right, so always keep an open mind. Always be asking yourself, maybe I'm wrong, but at the same time, when you see these kind of signs, take him from a grain of salt. Let his actions speak for you, and do not try to force it out of him. Which is to say, don't try to make him tell you he loves you. Just try to let his actions speak for themselves by how much he pays attention to you and how much he really wants to spend time with you. All right. Anyways, this is Alex from mindfulattraction.org. I hope you guys have a good day. And if you guys want one-on-one coaches, just go to mindfulattraction.org/coach in the pocket. Not me /in the game coaching. You see the link below. If you guys want to attend my seminar in New York City this weekend, click the link below. And if you want to attend my seminar in the second week of August in LA, just go to Eventbrite. You're gonna see the link below on the description. All right, take care and have a good day. Bye bye.